Okay, namaste, everyone. Warm welcome. I'm so grateful that we've been given another day. We are here on day 2 of our Being Oneself immersion, mini immersion, discovering what the self is, truly is. And so we had a really sweet moment yesterday. Thank you so much for joining. And some are new here, maybe for the first time. If it's your very first time, warm welcome. I'm Sharada, and I've had the blessing to dive into the teachings of Vedanta and the Vedic tradition for more than a decade now. And it has profoundly blessed my life in every possible way. And one of my greatest joys in life is to share these teachings and the tools also that come along with the teachings that really are the means to gain moksha. Moksha is a Sanskrit word and it means freedom. And like we saw for those that came yesterday, and if you're watching and joining today the first time, I really invite you to watch the class and the guided meditation from yesterday. There's a good beginning background into what we're doing today. Today is like a continuation, but I will again, of course, also give the basics. But so moksha is a Sanskrit word and it means freedom. And what kind of freedom? It is an absolute freedom. So an absolute freedom means a complete freedom. We maybe know of a relative freedom. So every time when we fulfill a desire, every time we are finally able to travel to this exotic place on the other side of the world, or when we're finally able to register for this course, or when we're finally able to go for a date or buy this new dress, like there's like a moment of freedom there, a moment of expansion, a moment of happiness. And they are very beautiful. We have them, we're being gifted with them most probably on a daily basis. If I don't have these relative moments of freedom or happiness over a longer period of time, that's where we usually go into a depression, where we are not able to really have those moments of goodness and wellness. Then a depression can come. And that's very, very painful. I myself also have experienced that to a certain extent, and it's very, very uncomfortable. And there are many ways of how to deal with depression or any other uncomfortable or painful situation in life. I'm just going now a little bit to the extreme, but that's really what the teaching of Vedanta is here for, to be able to really deal with the extremities of life, to really understand the extremities of life, the extreme experiences that we may have encountered in this life. And maybe some of us even remember some past life experience as well. As some of my very dear friends, they've had to deal in this life with past extreme experiences that have been present. And so the teachings of Vedanta are really here to help deal with them, and not only just deal and to manage them, but to really understand them, to be able to heal from maybe very painful or extreme situations, to heal and to see them actually as a blessing. That's a big one. How can I really see a depression as a blessing? Like, what do you say? Like this depression, how can that be a blessing? Well, we call it a blessing in disguise. It's not obvious at the first blink or in the first moment. In the first moment, we're just like, how will I ever get out of this dark cloud of this deep pain? This will never, ever go away. That's how we feel, or that's how I felt when I was like in a time in my life where my whole world fell apart. I went into a divorce, and then my house was gone, and I felt like I couldn't live in my community anymore. I was so ashamed. I felt so devastated, and it felt like this will never ever go away. It will never ever go away. But I already was a student of Vedanta, and I was already immersed in these teachings, and I knew what the teachings say. I knew that this will pass. I don't know when, but I know it will pass. That's what I had trust in that. I had trust that this has to pass. And why could I have trust in that? Because just like every other experience that I've had up until that point, it passed. I couldn't hold on to any other experience. Every other experience that I've experienced up until that devastating moment in my life, and the other experiences have passed as well. They didn't stay with me, or they didn't stay. Maybe some of the residues and some of the shock and the pain of certain experiences stayed with me, but the experience itself passed. And then, of course, the shock and the residue, that was part that I needed to heal when that devastating moment, or many moments, happened. But I knew that it will pass. I had trust in that, and it did. I can truly sit here today and say that dark cloud, it has passed. It has passed. And it's not that I don't experience any dark clouds anymore, but they don't have the same impact anymore. They don't scare me in the same way, the way that dark cloud did. And why is that? This is because of the grace of these teachings that, as we saw yesterday, is a mirror in the form of words, a mirror in the form of words to show our real self. So to show our real self. And I want to point out here that I'm not saying our supreme self or our higher self or our better self or whatever self, just our real self. I'm using those words because I don't want to know about that supreme self that then I have to go and try to become. That seems very difficult, and I don't know if I will ever be able to do that. But to be the real self that must be available, present here right now, if it's the real self, that according to this beautiful mirror in the form of words tells or has told me that I am whole and complete and limitless, free. The real self, being whole and complete, limitless and free. And isn't there any better vision than that? Isn't that the best vision that I can have about myself? And when I say about myself, I also mean yourself. Isn't that the best vision to have about yourself? The knowledge about yourself that you are whole and complete and limitless and free, here and now. Just feel that for a moment. Like imagine if you would know that you are 100% without any vagueness, doubts, or error, that you are a whole and complete, limitless and free being. How would that change your life? Tremendously. Wouldn't that change every aspect of your life? Definitely has changed every aspect of my life. Knowing this has changed my relationships, has changed my behavior and my way of being with myself and with other people, with other beings, including animals and plants and everything that is given. It has changed what I do in this life. It has changed how I relate to money, to food, to health. It has changed every aspect. So, and we may think like, okay, how am I going to now experience? I mentioned that yesterday. Experience that whole and complete and limitless free self. And that's where we really differ or differentiate ourselves from many other spiritual methods or teachings or tools that are there. So according to this mirror in the form of words, that whole and complete, limitless and free self is not something that we can experience. That real self is not a spiritual experience that I have to work towards, or that I have to sit really in meditation, or that I have to do anything about it to become that real self that is whole and complete, limitless and free. The mirror in the form of words is here to show us in this moment, here and now, just like when you look into the mirror, like when you go to the bathroom or anywhere and you see a mirror, you look into the mirror and you see your face in that moment, and your face is always there. Even when you don't look into the mirror, like your face is always there, and it was there before, it's there during looking into the mirror, and it's there after looking into the mirror. Your face is always there. And so it's exactly the same here. Your real self, that is whole and complete and limitless and free, is always present, is never not present. It's there before you look into this mirror right now, because we're basically right now in this moment looking into the mirror in the form of words to see our real face. And if this is the very first time you're looking into the mirror of words, this real, limitless, whole and complete self has been there always. But the problem is that was not known to you. And that real and whole and complete and limitless self is there right now in this moment, and it's also going to be there after. And it will always be there. It can never not be there. It has to be there always. If I would have to become whole and complete and limitless and free, right, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, imagine like you're now going to become whole and complete and limitless and free. That means before becoming whole and complete and limitless and free, you were not whole and complete, limitless and free. But that doesn't work, because wholeness and completeness and freedom, limitlessness, means it's an absolute being, it's a reality. It's not something that is not there, that cannot be there before. Like limitlessness, wholeness. If something is truly whole, it always has to be whole. If something is free, it always has to be free. Just like a mango doesn't suddenly become an orange, right? Or an apple doesn't suddenly become a pear. It's always an apple, or the pear is always a pear. I mean, when you start to look into the mirror of words in Vedanta, you suddenly discover that the apple is not really an apple, and the pear is not really a pear either, and the orange is not really an orange, and the mango is not really a mango. But for now, we take the mango as a mango, and the orange is the orange, and they don't just suddenly become the other. Even though when we start to inquire, we discover that actually they are not really that, but we think they are. But so if we are now here for the purpose of inquiring into wholeness and limitlessness, limitless means everything has to be included. Something that is limitless cannot suddenly be limited, or cannot have been limited, then become limitless, and then become limited again. So wholeness, limitlessness is the self, your real self. And it always has been whole and complete. And so that is very different from many different other spiritual tools or teachings or methods. Often there you have to do something, you have to experience, you have to become that whole and complete self, which often is called the supreme self or the superior self, but doesn't give that superior supreme self the sense that it's away from you. At least to me, those words give me the sense that that supreme, superior self is away from me. And so we're not using those words, we're using the self, just simply the self, or the real self, your most intimate being. So we are now discovering a little bit of that reality, and I really invite you to receive it, and then let whatever wants to surface, the doubts, they're all welcomed. They're all welcomed. And so if anything that is being said that is not within your experience, then that is valid, and then that can be brought to the table and looked at. So around 15 years ago, I think, I started, or maybe longer, I don't remember, it doesn't really matter. But I started yoga many years ago, yoga asana. I started with Ashtanga yoga and Iyengar yoga and Dharma Mitra yoga and the whole range of yoga. And I have beautiful teachers. And at the end, we would always chant a mantra. Asato ma sat gamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amritang gamaya. Any one of you knows that? I know many of you probably know that. A beautiful mantra. And so we chanted that. I had no idea what it meant. So I went to the translation underneath, and it said, lead me from untrue to truth. Lead me from darkness to the light. Lead me from death to immortality. I'm like, wow, that's a big prayer. And is that even possible? How is that possible? How can I go from death to immortality? So I remember that so well, like looking at that and chanting that. And I asked if some people would know what that really means, but at that time, nobody really could explain this. So I went on a journey because I really wanted to know what is behind all these words, and what is really real, and what is really unreal. So fast forward many years later, I met my teacher of Vedanta, and he actually was able to unfold these words. It was not just somebody that was just chanting them and no idea what they meant. He could actually take word by word and unfold them. And so I want to just take a brief translation of this beautiful mantra to help us see, or to help us get inspired and see that so many of us probably are yoga students or yoga teachers, meditation students or teachers or spiritual seekers. And we may also have been chanting these mantras for a long time, but to truly see that the meaning that is there in the mantras is very profound. Really, those mantras are in reality this mirror in the form of words that I have been talking about. So all these mantras are really here to help us see, discover that real, whole, and complete limitless self that is myself. So asato ma sat gamaya. Gamaya means lead me. Gam comes from the Sanskrit root gach, to walk, but here it refers gamaya, lead me. Gamaya, asato, asataha, from untruth. Asato ma, me. Asato ma sat, me, to the truth. Sat gamaya, lead me. Gamaya ma, lead me from asat, untruth, to sat, truth. So what is untrue? Untrue is that I am an incomplete being. Untrue is that I'm a limited being. Untrue is that I'm a being that is bound by time and space. It is untrue that I'm young and old. It is untrue that I'm depressed or angry and sad. it is untrue that I'm even a woman or a man. All these conclusions that I have made about me really are untrue. Any conclusion that is other than that I am a whole and complete limitless being is untrue. And so just take a moment and reflect, like, how many conclusions have you made upon yourself? Have I made upon myself? How many conclusions? Right? All day long. Like we're talking about the body, and then, oh, I have so much back pain, and oh, now I'm really not flexible anymore, and now I've gained weight and I'm fat, or like I'm so thin. Oh, look here now, I'm really stressed now. Oh, I feel so much pressure. Now I feel really relaxed. All day long we're making conclusions or about ourselves. Our whole life we've made conclusions about ourselves. And how many conclusions have we made about ourselves? Infinite. Something that didn't change was that I am. I say, I am young, I am old, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm flexible, I'm not flexible, I'm tired, I'm very energized. That I am was the same, but everything after I am is changing, has been changing, is changing. And no matter we're so confused, it's no wonder that we feel very confused about what we truly are. And so asato ma sat gamaya, lead me to sat, that which is really true. And here also maybe we can wonder, okay, now I'm doing a prayer. I'm doing a prayer, or I speak those words, lead me. Who are you referring to? Or what are you referring to? We're referring to the universe, the grace factor, the cause of this whole universe. There is in this prayer already some trust there, that there is something there that has more knowledge than I have. So here we're speaking, we're expressing to the universe, please, help me. I'm acknowledging that I have made conclusions about myself that are hurting me and that are not helping me really in life. And so I want to know what is true. So sat means what is true, what is real. And according to Vedanta, are the teachings, these teachings in the form of the mere, in the form of words, that which is real is yourself. The self is really the only thing which is not really a thing, but because of the limitation of words, the self is really that which is real alone. How come the self is real alone? Well, it's the self which we then gotta discover what that really is, that is ever present. Like yesterday, we went into an inquiry and we did the meditation on discovering that myself has always been present, always is present. In and through every experience that I've had in my life, myself always has been present. So what is real is really the self alone. And the self is a conscious being, is consciousness itself. So these are very big words, and all these words have to be unfolded carefully. So here we're just now giving a taster. So lead me from that which is untrue, so from all the wrong conclusions that I have made upon me, but also the world and God, Goddess, to that which is really real. That which is really real is the self that is limitless, whole and complete. Then asato ma sat gamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya. Gamaya again, gamaya, ma, lead me, tamaha, from the darkness to jyotihi, to the light. And so darkness here and the light, they're not to be taken literally. They are metaphors. So the darkness stands for pain, ignorance, and jyotihi stands for light and knowledge. So this is a very beautiful example. Wherever there is light, there can be no darkness. They cannot really coexist. And so wherever there is knowledge, there can be no ignorance. Either I have knowledge of that real, whole and complete, limitless, free self, or I don't. And so here, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, please lead me from this darkness, from this pain, because of not knowing what I truly am, because of which I make so many conclusions upon myself, which are very painful, because then I look at myself and I compare myself to the rest of the universe, the rest of the people, and all I can see is limitation. I am not good enough. I am not enough. I have limited knowledge, limited skills. I have a limited body. And no matter what I do, I can never become limitless. And so there is a silent pain there. And often that silent pain is not really coming to the surface, or we are doing a lot to keep that silent pain silent and covered. But for many seekers of moksha and freedom, we are very much aware that that silent pain is always there. No matter what I do, I know that I'm going to do this and this is going to change. No matter if I now accomplish that, I know something else will come and I cannot hold on to it. So for many that are seeking, really have that awareness that that silent pain is there. And for those that are not yet aware of that, that silent pain will be revealed one day or the other. The day will come, it can be any moment, any event that will trigger that silent pain. And then how do I deal with that? Can I welcome it and say, it's okay, you can be here with me? Or will I reject it? And the problem with rejecting it is that it's just becoming bigger and heavier and more painful, and maybe even will lead to more sickness. But when I welcome it, then it can actually be released and it can be brought into jyoti, into the light. It can be brought into the truth. So then the light stands for that truth. The light stands for knowledge, the knowledge of that limitless, whole and complete free self. And mrityo ma amritam gamaha. Lead me ma gamaya mrityuhu to amritam. Mrityuhu means death, and amritam means free from death. So lead me from death to deathlessness. So here we are again invoking the blessing of the universe to discover our nature that is free from death. Every being in this whole universe has concluded that they're going to die. Death is a very real experience for the one that doesn't know what death really is. And if we hear death, most of us will tense up. Most of us will be afraid of death. Most of us have a lot of pain when it comes to death. Experience, old experiences or present experiences. In our culture, Western culture, we know very little about death. But according to the Vedic tradition, death is really just a new birth. According to the Vedic tradition, there is no real death. When we hear the word death, often what we relate to it is non-existence. I'm going to cease to exist. I will not be here anymore. But that is not true. You cannot die. It's impossible. You cannot die. You can never not exist. And so this is what we're asking, what you maybe have been asking, not even knowing that that's what you've been asking. And then sometimes we're wondering, like, why is life so intense? Somehow you've been asking for it unknowingly, unconsciously. You've been chanting this mantra maybe. Asatoma Satgamaya. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Mratangamaya. Been asking for deathlessness. So what is the world going to bring? Lots of death, or the appearance of death. But we've been asking for it, to understand that in reality nothing is ever dying. Nothing is ever dying, because nothing really does not exist. Like non-existence is something that we just talk about to refute that idea of non-existence. Non-existence is like the city in the clouds. We know city, we know clouds or sky, but the city in the sky is non-existence. It's something that doesn't exist. Not in the past, not in the present, not in the future. But you are here. You exist. You have any doubt about that? I've had times in my life I doubted, do I really exist? Yeah, when we have midlife crisis, existential crisis. Do I really exist? What is really real? The only thing that is real is you. That's the only thing you can be sure about. Anything else you cannot be sure about. Everything else comes into being and yes, will go out of being. That includes the whole universe. But you never have come into being and you will never go out of being. So you truly exist. You are. Like we are here, peekabooing with each other. That's not an illusion. So existence is that which always is in the past, in the present, in the future. And that means it's free from death. Death means it just is changing. A form is changing. The body is changing always, yes. But I am never changing. So mrityuhu, from the jaw of death, lead me to deathlessness, where I can embrace all change of life. I can say, welcome, 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 welcome. And I can say, well go, well go, well go, well go. But you are ever secure in all these insecure moments. That's what we're asking for with this prayer. And so we're going to go now into a guided meditation to, again, like yesterday, assimilate what we've just heard or looked into, to just let it percolate into our being and have whatever wants to arise from the bottom of the lake, the unconscious, and then welcome that, welcome the doubts, welcome maybe even memories. These teachings are very, very deep. So also if you're now in the meditation or later during the day, you suddenly have different kinds of emotion arising, different kind of feelings, that's actually a good sign. It means that the teaching is already doing its magic. So if you often notice some like, oh, tiredness or sleepiness or emotions coming or even old memories coming, I invite you to welcome them and embrace them like a mother would do. And just say, it's okay, you can be here with me. And if you need support, we have a beautiful group community with amazing people that you can always reach out, that are there and sharing with each other. Every Sunday, we also have women's circle, community circle. So there's a lot of support here in my world. So if you feel comfortable, this is an invitation to follow this guided meditation. Know that you can always stop. You can always open your eyes. You don't even have to close your eyes. It's if you want to. Most important is you feel safe. And so before we go into the meditation, I just invite you to establish some safety, some, we call it resources in the trauma language. What is a resource for you? Maybe it is your altar or your plant that is there. Maybe it is your breath. Maybe it's like giving yourself a hug. Just establish a few resources that you know that at any time you can do that. Anytime you can look at your animal, Anytime you can drink a glass of water. Anytime you can just lean back and and find comfort. Because here and now, there's nothing to be afraid of. And there's no elephant, there's no tiger there. So objectively speaking, there's no real fear there. But it might be possible that suddenly we feel fear. So then we can acknowledge and say, this must be something from the unconscious. And this is ready to be revealed and ready to come into myself that is whole and complete and not ever affected by this fear. So, oh fear, I welcome you. Oh fear, I welcome you. If there's any fear. And then establish into that security, into that wellness, and finding a comfortable position, a natural position with your spine, your neck, your head aligned. And if you want, you can roll your shoulders back a few times. Opening your jaw. And I love sighing. It helps me relax my heart and my hips. And then place your hands on your knees or interlace them, your fingers interlacing, and place them on your lap. And like we did yesterday, I love to just take a moment to let the natural eye gaze take place. Not looking at anything particularly, but just taking in, orienting oneself, taking in the world, becoming aware of your own presence, noticing the blinking of your eyelid. The eyelids are so soft, like butterfly wings. And letting eventually the upper eyelid fall heavily onto the lower eyelid. And do this opening and closing as many times until there are no eye wrinkles anymore in your upper eyelid. And there's a natural relaxation that comes from your eyes. And let that relaxation expand throughout your whole body, covering every part of your body. I like to think of it like a warm shower that kisses my body, softens my body, my jaw, the cheeks, the lips, and the tongue. You maybe feel like yawning. Just let the natural urges of your body take place. Burping, farting, everything is allowed. Yawning, they're all a way to release. If you notice your eyes are again like tense, just open them again and close them softly so that your whole skull, your neck, your shoulders all can relax and soften. Relaxing, softening your arms and hands and fingers, your whole spine, all the way down to your sacrum. Let that relaxation from your eyes loosen your chest and your breasts, your belly. Notice if you have tension in your belly. And then let your belly soften like a baby belly. No need to pull the belly in. Softening the genitals, the buttocks, both legs, knees, and feet, all the way down to the toes. And if I don't have any body part, just imagine the energetic place of it. The energy of that body part is still there. It's also kissing and showering that part with love. And if you notice there is any body part that is in pain, that is especially tense, then bring some more attention to that place and invite you to breathe into that place. Expand it with your breath and welcome the sensation, welcome the tension or pain in your body. And then exhale that feeling out. See if you can give it a sound to that tension or pain or feeling that you're experiencing in this moment. And slowly finding the stillness, finding the silence. The silence that is ever present, often unrecognized. The silent presence of your own being. Noticing how your breath starts to cool down, how your breath becomes deeper, slower. Notice the steadiness of your breath and how that steadiness also resolves into that silent presence of your own being. Just like the sense of touch pervading your whole body. Take a moment to acknowledge that. Resolves into that silent presence of your own being. And maybe the mind is very active right now. Maybe not. Maybe it's already starting to soften. Follow the guidance. But maybe lots of ideas are coming or things that you need to do, things that needs to be accomplished or taken care of. Then I invite you to make an imaginary list. Just write all those things that your mind is trying to tell you on this list. Say thank you, my beautiful mind, for reminding me. I hear you, I see you. Put it all on this imaginary list. And then put the list aside and pick it up after the meditation. And if at any time your mind comes back again with reminding you of things that you need to do, just remember the list is there and you can put it there on the list. And then you come back to the guidance. Even while the mind is busy reminding you, it resolves into the silent presence of your own being. So we want to discover what is real and what is unreal. Asato ma sat, Yogamaya. Asat, what is unreal? Everything that changes. What changes? Everything changes. My body, my mind, my emotions, my experiences, the knowledge, relative knowledge. The whole world is constantly changing. So does it mean it's not really real or it doesn't exist because it's always changing? No, it doesn't mean that. Asat, unreal, doesn't mean it's not real at all. It has some reality. Like you have the experience of your body. You have the experience of your mind and the pain, frustration, the anger, the happiness, relative happiness. You have the experience of the world. We have the experience of each other, and we have all these memories, painful and beautiful memories. So are they not real at all? No, they are real, but they are not completely real, fully real. They have a relative reality. They do have a reality, but they don't have an absolute reality. What is Sat? Is the absolute reality. That which is really real is that which is always present, is never not present. So my body is not always present. My emotions, they're always changing. I'm not always emotional. I'm not always hungry or thirsty, tired. Those conditions are changing. The world and the situation, they're changing. So Sat is that which doesn't change, ever. And that is only myself, yourself. See the truth of it, that you are not really ever changing. You haven't really changed your being. It's always present, always has been present. While you were awake and experienced your body and all the people in your life and have traveled to all the different places. When you were asleep, you were present. When you were dreaming, you were present. Everything around you has changed, is changing, and will be changing. But you are not changing. You are that which is really real. Sat. So what is all of this? Everything that I experience, my body, the people in my life, the oceans and the rivers and the lakes and the creeks and the waterfalls. What about the mountain and the sun and the moon and the stars and the forests and the jungles? Well, they're all Ishvara. They're all Devi. They're all goddess. They're all God. It is the magic. It is the sacred play, sacred movie that is here for you to enjoy, but not to get lost in. This world is here, given to you, including your body, your mind, your people. They're all yours. This is your life given to you. And just like the five elements constantly give and take care and nurture, give us warmth and water and food, contribute to the sacred symbiosis, you too are here meant to contribute. There's no need to neglect or push away or reject anything. It is meant to be seen for what it is. And you are meant to remember what you are in relationship to all of this that you're experiencing. You are the truth of it. In this discovery that you are that which is really real, it's going to neutralize all the pain, all the tamaha, the darkness, the guilt, the hurt, the shame. In the light of your knowledge, the light of your own being, all that pain can resolve because it has a refuge. It has a home. The pain needs a home. The child needs a home. And you are its home. You are the mother of mothers and the father of fathers. Your mother and father did the best they could do with the knowledge that they've had available. Maybe some actions failed, but they didn't fail. You are here today. They did a good job. You are here today. It was enough. The rest the universe provided. So if it is the right moment, you can offer your gratitude, appreciation to your mother and father, letting them be Ishvara, part of this whole universe. Just like you, they don't know what they are, truly, confused, making judgments upon themselves, doing the best they can. Let them be free. Grant them freedom. And if it's not the right moment to offer the gratitude that is in perfect order as well, you can always come back when the time is right, when you are ready. But it is our journey as jivas, as individuals, to welcome the darkness, tamaha, the pain, and to be a home for the pain. A home where the pain, which are all the frozen children in time, to unfreeze, where they can grow and heal and bloom. The self doesn't reject. The real self doesn't judge. The real self has no agenda for anything to be different than what it is. It knows it cannot be touched or hurt in any way. It is whole and complete. And that is why all the pain is welcomed. All the frozen children in time are welcome. I am the home to my pain, the loving home. And one day I'm ready to be led from the death to immortality. To freedom, absolute freedom. Freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Freedom from everything that I don't want. Discovering that I am everything I want to be already, here and now. Mrityorma amritangamaya. When the death comes, may I be ready to welcome it, see it for what it is, be able to abide in myself, knowing that nothing happens to me. Just like the sun that is ever shining, it's never ever affected by the weather. It can be stormy, rainy, there can be a tsunami, there can be snow. The sun always shines. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Remembering where you are. Whenever you're ready, slowly moving your body. And if you want, you can slowly open your eyes. If you want to stay longer with yourself, you're so welcome to do that. But the guided meditation is completed. So I pray that some of these jewels can be with you and nourish you for today and maybe many more days to come. And if you enjoyed this and want more, I have a 9 days camp coming up, an online camp from August the 1st to August the 12th. And it can be taken as a retreat, or it can also be taken as a training. The training is more for people that already have been with this teaching or with the yoga teachings, or a yoga teacher or meditation teacher are really ready to dive deeper into it and maybe also share this to a certain extent. So this event is called the Living Wisdom Teacher. And like I said, it can be taken as a retreat or as a training. It's from August the 1st to August the 12th with 3 days off in between. And we'll be meeting every morning European time, first for meditation and then for the teachings. And there are 7 specific topics that we're going to cover, all related to what we have seen yesterday and today. to getting from confusion to clarity, and to get from pain to happiness, and from incompleteness to wholeness, to discover what this mirror in the form of words is really here to show us, to discover basically ourselves, which is really freedom, moksha, happiness. So I have a special offering for those that are here with me today and yesterday. It's a coupon of 108 euro discount, and the coupon is Living Wisdom 108, and I put it here in the chat. So for anyone that wants to join, you can use this coupon and get that discount. And I also put the link to that retreat training, Living Wisdom Teacher, in the chat here. All the information is there. And if you have any more questions, you can always reach out to me. And you will see that if anyone wants to join but really doesn't have the finances, then you can reach out to me, and you can also give dakshina. Dakshina is traditionally how the exchange takes place, that one gives from the heart and based on their financial situation, simply what they can. And so I put the price now because often for people it's confusing when I write donation, or they don't know what to do. It's like in the West, we didn't grow up with that concept. So I put a price there, an investment, I like to call it, because it's really an investment of life. But I do want to uphold the tradition. And if anyone for financial reason is not able to join and really is ready and wants to join, like this teaching is always given and is never not given. So that's very important to me. So yeah, warmly welcome to join me if you're longing to be more in these teachings and guided meditations. And if for any reason you couldn't join live, all the classes are going to be recorded, and they will be gathered in a beautiful platform, our Devi School, where then you can download the app basically and access the classes anytime. And if you join the training, you also get additional courses, like you're going to get a whole complete course on Vedanta, Tattva Bodha, and you're going to get an additional course of the values, and also Guru Stotram. So there's quite a few bonuses there. So yes, this is what I wanted to share, and I feel so happy to be here with you. And if any one of you has any questions in regard to what is coming or what we have done today or yesterday, feel free to unmute yourself or write in the chat. Or if anything came up for you that you would like to share also, so welcome to share here with us. Thank you, Renee. Kiki saying, I recommend to everyone to be part of this program. Thank you.
Om Sharada and everyone. I totally agree with the last comment. Sharada is an amazing waterfall. It's just pouring out of her, and I'm so blessed to have met her. I can't join this training. I would love to, but I've started working, so morning times are not good for me. But I follow her everywhere she goes, and I'm there in spirit. So join her. She has changed my life, and she will change so many women's lives. Why am I starting? Why am I starting to cry?
Oh.
It's the meditation and just the emotions from seeing you live. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thank you. And I want to say that this retreat training is for men and women. I know that often I do programs for women only, but the Living Wisdom is for anyone, or for those non-binary that don't identify with being a woman or a man. It's for everyone. Itzel, thank you. Thank you, Itzel. Thank you, Andrea. Monali Singh agreed. Total magic and clarity to study with Sharada. Thank you, Monali. Thank you, Arjuna. Yes, and I do also have regular weekly classes, Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to have a break now over the summer and we'll start in October again. So if you would like to study and more on a slower pace, then you may be interested in the weekly Vedic study classes, Wednesday and Thursdays, but they start in October. So you can just reach out to me and I'll send you the information. Thank you, Anneli. Sama-sama.
Sharada.
Yes.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Oh. Again, gratitude reigns for the blessing of your teaching, your sharing. It's truly, wow. The timing of it is just awesome. I'm sure it's always the case, yeah. But perhaps even more at this time. And I guess what resonates for me with regard to the timing is the support that you offer. And I realize how isolated I have been on my journey, while remaining actively connected with the teachings online. However, not actively part of a community, of the community, our Vedanta community. So I realized the August retreat that you are offering also won't work for me live, because it's midnight for me, and so yeah. So, however, you mentioned about support. You have an ongoing Sunday support group. Is this currently happening?
Yeah, they are happening every Sunday. Yes. Right. Different times so that we can accommodate, or yeah, different time zones. Yeah.
All right. So I'm certainly interested in that.
Yeah, I can post the link.
Me
also.
too. I'm also interested in Sundays, Sharada Devi.
Okay.
As Marie said, that would be good for me too.
Great. I posted here.
Thank you.
Sama-sama.
Which doesn't exclude being part of, taking part in some part of your upcoming offering of the retreat, because I mean, wow, what an offering! I mean, yes. So I think my needs can be taken care in all the ways. I'm totally confident in your presence. You know, I'm just in awe, actually, at you. Really, truly, and I'm just in awe, and I'm so happy to be in your presence again at this time, and in this way that is so full, so complete. Nothing is missing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like how many years, behind. You can't, it's to be able to share this knowledge, to be in the presence of a teacher who is committed to sharing this knowledge as you are. Wow. It's a big wow. It's just a big wow. So as my dear sister and friend, it's, I'm just bowing to you. Namaste.
Namaste. Sama-sama, Maris. Sama-sama.
I feel opportunities, are just like opening up, like just inspirations and all, possibilities of what's to come, because this is where I'm at, with the unfoldment of what I'm to share with the world, right? Yet I'm feeling the need for a container, a support that can enable me to do that. So I can come out of this isolation place that I have, necessarily need to put myself through into. Yet, it's just like feeling like it's like the light at the end of the tunnel, it's just not, it feels like the light. And as you're talking, you've been talking about the light today, it's just, throughout this whole journey, it's not like I was in total darkness yet, it's also that putting all the efforts I've put into it, for the last 12 years, 13, like, it's like, you can imagine that doubt is there at different times, it's like time considerations and worthiness and all, like, what can come through difficulties and so on, and yet just a trust that this was what I was supposed to be doing, and I was exactly where I needed to be. Just again dropping into the knowledge of Vedanta to confirm that. So yet I feel like I'm coming to more of a realization of a kind, as far as my contribution, basically. I've come here and I see, I sense, and I get that through your teaching and how clearly you come through. This is really, it's a beautiful inspiration. That's basically.
Sama. Thank you, Maris, for sharing. Yes, it's time to come out, and yeah, I look forward to that, and I'm here as much as I can, and Be Woman to support that. Yeah, we look everyone. Yes, you will see Maris more now. That's her coming out of the womb of the chaos of the cauldron of the abyss, and then Devi's coming. She's quite a woman. I mean, you probably get the feeling of it, but she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to pleasure and sexuality and everything around the art of love.
What comes with it? What comes with it?
So really a gift, and I look forward to supporting that also, to really come out, and yeah, let's get together and see how we can bring that out more. Yeah.
Yes, while you're in California, it may be easier to also time-wise, to catch up. So,
Yeah, but maybe let's talk about that later. But let's talk about that later. So if anyone else wants to share, then yeah. I love you, Maris. Oh.
Thank you, Sharada and Maris, for that sharing. Yeah, I feel very porous and my heart is pounding very fast. And I found yesterday and today very, something new. So thank you. And I felt like asking a question about, this welcoming of the doubt and welcoming everything in this way from this place, like noticing that, I am also more than the mother, somehow is like blowing my cosmology a little bit. And I feel like asking a question about how inquiry can be supportive, because I felt yesterday in the meditation of asking, what's me, and what isn't, constantly welcoming these children back. It was, bringing so much tears and beauty. And I feel like there's behind this question is also a attachment in a way from my background in Tantra, which I realized, wow, I identify so much with welcoming all of these emotions that sometimes I welcome them as me. And I found the inquiry very wow, supportive for that. So I'm wondering if you have any additional questions that you often use in your practice, as well as I welcome you or this belongs or anything like that is my question.
Can you just repeat the last part, I welcome you?
Well, for example, I welcome you or this belongs, or noticing, what are some questions that you use additionally to welcome your doubt or whatever it may be, to really go deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. The question that I use a lot is it's more than a question. It's more like an invocation or a prayer, I have a very strong, that is part of our the teaching methodology and tradition also to have that relationship with, for example, like, there are many, but one is, for example, the goddess of knowledge, which we call Saraswati. And so I have that deep relationship to her because she's the one that has the knowledge. So I know the knowledge is there, the truth is there, but I've hadn't had opportunity or at that time to be able to really understand the reality. And so then what I would always do and still do, especially also in the meditation, is really ask for that clarity. Like, please show me. Like, that's why also that prayer with it, that asatoma sadgamaya, it is that invocation, that desire to know, the desire to have clarity, the desire to be able to discern between what is I and what is not I. So, and that gave just a lot of relief in my heart, because then I kind of gave it over to her or to it or to that, instead of that I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
I want her to show me. And then I can just, lean back and really just let, like, that's really how the teaching works. It's that you just let the we call it the eye dog see for you. And it's like when a blind person has an eye dog, and they just have total trust that that eye dog takes them wherever they need to go. They have that intimate relationship and trust there. And I know that's a big jump, like, to have that kind of trust in this mirror in the form of words, because we really got to inquire. We can't just like blindly trust anything. Yeah, because it's not what it's meant to be like that either. We got to inquire, but there comes a time where I just have to trust. Like it's not even I have to trust. The thing is I can trust. Like the truth is there, so I can trust. But then of course we all have had experiences where my trust was broken or abused or manipulated, and that's very, very painful and scary. And so, but truth is that reality, for the truth to be revealed to oneself, we have to have that kind of trust, like that blind person in the dark. I just let the reality be unfolded to me, and then I can see myself as I truly am. So that's the beauty with this teaching, that it really lets one, when one has the trust, to really see oneself as such. And then there's not much that I need to really figure out. It's really just letting the teaching see for me, and let myself be seen. So I don't know if this really answers your question, but I have a whole list of questions. I can send that to you, like a whole list of questions, what we can ask, like, what is the fundamental problem? What is the reality of myself? What is the truth about the world, the God, and me? So I have a whole list of questions that I definitely can make available to kind of come into that. Okay, what are the questions that are gonna lead me to what I want to know? But then also just like having these prayers, like this, please universe, just please show me what is real. And then, and if that prayer comes with sincerity, like the universe will show you what is real, that you are real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is enough. Thank you so much. And I would love that list, and perhaps to follow the cosmic alignment of this course. And 108 has been showing up like for the last 2 weeks all the time. And finally I was like, okay, just show me. So I was kind of surprised, but also how, this space really, everything that you shared of, I've really experienced that polarity in my life with everything that you channeled and share of the mistrust and disbelief and manipulation. So I really trust in this space to continue asking the questions and allowing the answers to be shown. Thank you.
Sama-sama, honey. Yeah, please send me an email so that we can send you that list with the questions.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sama-sama. Okay, anyone else? Otherwise, we're going to conclude here now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I wish you a wonderful moment, evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in, and stay in touch. And I see you soon again in the right sacred timing. Lots of love and gratitude. Oh, everyone.